Everybody, I'm Christo. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to tell you very quickly, in 10 steps, there are 12, but 10 steps, how to start playing MEIOU and Taxes. You should want to start playing MEIOU and Taxes. It's a fantastic overhaul, the best mod for the best game that has ever been made. Both cases best. It adds tons of new provinces, new countries, new start date, new institutions and technologies, new idea groups. It adds communication efficiency, very similar to Control if you've been reading the EU5 dev diaries. It adds much more interesting interactions with the states. It adds goods-based market economies to the whole world. It's fantastic and you should want to play it. But I'm not going to belabor that point too much. This is meant to be a quick guide. So how do you get and play MEIOU and Taxes? Step 1, get it from the forum, not Steam. Steam is not a very good repository for mods. It automatically updates them even if you don't want it to, etc, etc. Just get it from the forum. There will be this link in the description. You can see what version of EU4 it is. If you Google, if that's not the version of EU4 you're currently on, you can Google how to roll back your EU4 version, and myself from several years ago will help you. I have a forum post on that subject. So step 1, download from the forum. Step 2, don't panic about the startup lag. So when you might have heard that MEIOU and Taxes runs really badly. If you have a semi-decent PC these days, it's not that bad, to be honest. When you first load the game, it will lag a bunch. You pick a country and you load in, and it will hang, it will lag, so on and so on. Just hands off the keyboard, give it some time, don't worry about it. It'll calm down. In the future, there's not much lag except on January 1st and February 1st. They have condensed the lag down into those 2 dates, basically. And I like that because it means once a year in game, you just, look off to your side monitor or your phone at Reddit or something for 20 seconds. And then the rest of the time, the mod runs really well. So don't worry about the lag. Also, if your game stops responding at any point during this, which is especially common if you're starting it for the first time, just don't freak out. Just wait, hands off the keyboard, no problem. Step 3, don't play Iron Man. The Git mod is imperfect in some ways. The developers have done incredible things with the EU4 engine that requires pushing it to its very limits. So don't use Iron Man because it's possible you might have to use the console to check how something is working or fix something, or you might want to reload a save if you don't understand and you want to test how something works. Don't use Iron Man. Step 3, pick the right country. I'm going to suggest Bohemia. Why Bohemia? Because they have, they're pretty wealthy to start with. They have a decent sized army to start with. They have subjects. They are the emperor of the HRE. Don't worry if this screen looks intimidating. It's very similar to the vanilla HRE. They also have only one major city, which means you can really focus on understanding the urban development of one province without having to necessarily worry about many cities all at once. They do have multiple cities and you're going to want to grow multiple cities, but you can just focus on Prague to start with. They also don't start in a war like France does, like England does, like Castile does, which I think makes Bohemia a slightly better option for a starting country. They don't really have very many proximate big threats. The Ottomans are likely to rise to be one in the long term. Make sure you keep an eye on Austria, but in general, Bohemia, very good place to start. They also have some really good missions, which can really help them in their early development. So I suggest for number 4, pick Bohemia. Number 5, understand province selection. So in EU4, in MEIOU and Taxes, in EU4, you can use this button here, and you click it, and it puts a little pin in a province. That lets you select the province. If you go into your decisions, you can change whether you're selecting individually, a province and its neighbors, areas, regions, all stated provinces, all owned provinces, sectors, or individually. Don't worry about what sectors are for now. So if we wanted to select all our provinces, we go like this, and then we'd select them all. Why would you want to do that? There are a few things, like setting infrastructure maintenance, for example, where you need to select a province in order to do it. If you're trying to do something and it's new to the mod and it's not working, consider if you're supposed to be trying to do it to a specific province, and if so, have you selected that province? But yeah, have a little play with selecting provinces. You can also clear all selected provinces using that event there, which only pops up when you have selected provinces. Number 7, delegate tax. These things here might look like buildings if you come from vanilla EU4. They are in fact taxes. This is noble dues, this one is land tax, this one is an inheritance tax, rent dues, salt excise, substance excise, etc., etc. These are military taxes, so how much conscription have you got, levying, clan hosts, noble levies, citizen service, or volunteers. So these are military taxes, these are money taxes, basically. Understand how these work. Understanding how these work is not necessary to play the mod. At the end of the day, you're going to want to understand them to at least a pretty decent degree, but you really, really don't need to, not to begin with, because what you can do is delegate tax. So what are we going to do? We're going to go into our decisions. We're going to click Delegate Taxes, and you're going to get this event. This event will pop up automatically once you go through the 1st of January, after you start up the game. So you go in here and you delegate the tax code. Taxes in MEIOU and Taxes have a few things that you should understand about them, so you understand what you're doing with the delegator, and I will explain them very briefly. Basically, what you're saying to the delegator is, where, all states, do you want to redelegate every year? Yes. Do you want to pop up this event every year? No thanks. And then how much mana do you want to spend? When you tax a province, it costs admin, diplo, or mill, depending on the type of tax. Mill points are spent on generating manpower, admin and diplo are spent on generating money. How much mana it costs you depends on a whole load of factors. The ones that are broadly inside your control are estate loyalty and autonomy. So if you wanted to get into it, you could really work out, okay, I have this much estate loyalty in this province and this much autonomy, so I can work out exactly what taxes I want to apply, but don't worry about it. Just try and have low autonomy and then click this button and it's done. You do not need to worry about taxes. Make sure you do this. It will pop up, like I say, so it'll be hard to miss. And make sure you're spending an appropriate amount. The amount it starts you with here is fine. In general, as I get stronger, I tend to like to drop the military power. And the less you tax, the more money that's circulating in your economy, the richer your people will be, maybe the more they will build and grow, and the better your taxes could be in the future. So don't just always push for the highest you can. And 25 dip, this is per year, these costs, 25 dip per year is quite a bit. So think about it before you plow these to too higher numbers. But yeah, there are lots of really interesting things about how taxes work that cause you to want to shape your country in a certain way, but you don't need to worry about them. For now, hit Delegate Tax, live your life. Number 8, use the investment manager. So as I've mentioned, MEIOU and Taxes has this incredible system of property and industry and goods and all this kind of stuff. And you can see here, there's all this industrial stuff that's owned by a split between the peasants, residents, nobles, burghers and clergy, and so on and so on. There's all this infrastructure. It's amazing. It's a really, really cool system, and you don't need to understand it. Over time, you will come to understand it better and better, and that's part of the fun. But you don't need to understand it to start with. Don't start thinking like, oh, okay, I'm just getting started. I should invest a whole bunch in mines because I know I have these silver mines, things like that. Don't stress it. Don't stress it. Instead, go to your utility decisions, which you show in your decisions tree by hitting Show Utility Decisions. Go down to Automatic Investment and turn that on. So now Automatic Investment is on, Auto Property Maintenance is on, and then we're going to go to Investment Manager. So this is going to say, how much of your treasury do you want to spend on buying property in your country, buying or building property in your country per how many years? So let's say we set it to 10% every 3 years. You can see now it says current budget 10%, investment frequency every 3 years. Now, every third year, as long as you're not in a war that you're not winning easily, you will spend, the government, the AI will for you, take 10% of your treasury, invest it into your country. That's it. That's all you need to worry about. I would definitely do this. You don't want to do too much too early, but later on, the AI will very profitably select things to plow your money into it. So make sure you use the investment manager. Now, make sure you also tell it which provinces to do it. So let's select all owned provinces. Let's go to our decisions. Let's say add selected provinces to investment. And there we go. Now, if we go into, I think advanced province shows us. No, I don't think it does. But anyway, we now know that we have selected all of our provinces and added them to investment manager. If you just want to do all your investing in Prague, you could just select Prague and add that. You can also remove the selected provinces from the investment manager. So you could have it just invest in cities, for example. If you wanted to just really focus on investment in cities, you could do that. No problem. There you go. That is point 8. Point 9 is understand a bit about the estates window. Now again, don't freak out. This is a beautiful, beautiful window, a masterpiece of managing to get UI actually to work when modding in EU4. But there's a lot going on here and it feels a bit intimidating. Don't worry about it. My advice is, firstly, to hover over lots of these things and figure out a bit about what's going on. I have a more comprehensive tutorial on the estates that you can find. Do go and check that out. The things I want you to look at on here first are the fact that with each estate, you don't just have privileges that have various effects like vanilla. You have rights and reforms, and you have privileges. Most of the time, when you start, the privileges purely benefit the estate, and the rights, the reforms, benefit a bit the estate and a bit you. And the more you raise it, the more it benefits you and the less the estate. The more you lower it, the more it benefits the estate and the less it benefits you in general. The bureaucracy is kind of a special case. This, is basically, it's just better and better the higher you raise it and the higher you add reforms to it. There are caveats, but that's generally what you need to know. But the one thing I want you to know about here is it's not just about the rights and reforms and how you change them and things, which is a bit complicated, and yeah, I have a video on that, do check that out. But also you can interact with your bureaucracy and your nobility and your burghers and your clergy using these buttons. So you can do things to support them, or you could do things to get benefit from them. And this applies to all of them. You can support the burghers, you can get stuff from the burghers. So take a look at these. There's powerful things you can do in here that will make a big impact on the loyalty of your estates and that will give you lots of good stuff. You can also do commoner interactions. You can pay for people's grain, you can do tax relief, you can give people more property and things like that. You can also interact with your bureaucracy in here. You can also curtail your bureaucracy in here. There's lots and lots of things. You can reform the administration, things like that. There's lots of things you can do in here. Hover over these up and down arrows, and it will show you what the criteria are to be able to do things. Work towards trying to raise these and these. That's the main thing, basically, in terms of doing that. MEIOU and Taxes is a game about driving towards modernity. And what that looks like is legal reform. Lots and lots of arduous centralization and legal reform that will take many hundreds of years to complete. But by the time you've finished it, you'll have a centralized modern state. If I had all of these at level 4 right now, for example, I would be able to smash France, even if France had the base levels, even if France owned all of England and all of France and all of Spain, just because centralization is unbelievably powerful in the game as well, not just real life. So, that's points 1 through 9. Number 10, and I've mentioned this a few times, don't stress fully comprehending stuff. If you don't unpause until you understand everything, you'll never unpause. It's fine. Delegate your taxes, automate your investment. Don't stress the estates maybe in the first few years while you're just kind of finding your feet and doing some of the normal EU4 stuff. Really, really don't worry about it. At some point, you'll get to the point where you assess your bureaucracy and stability and you look at your national income thing and you see like, my income from industry is a little bit down. Maybe I should make some more investments. Or you look at your expenses and you're like, my military recruitment rate is a bit high. I need to tweak that, things like this. You don't need to worry about that early on. Don't look at this and look at this tooltip. By the way, if you hit shortcut key A, you'll cycle through multiple pages of tooltips, which can be very helpful. Don't look at this and say, okay, my burghers have a life fulfillment need of 897%. What exactly does that mean? Don't worry about it. You do not need to know. You can just play this mod. I assure you, you can in fact play this mod. So that in, what is that, just under 15 minutes or so, is 10 steps to start playing MEIOU and Taxes. Now I have point 11 and 12. I cheated a little bit. Point 11, join the Discord, ask questions there. That's linked in the description. It's very, very helpful. Point 12, I have a playlist of tutorials. Some of them are quite old, but they are still pretty much on point. Go ahead and watch those if you want a more deep dive. But genuinely, you can play MEIOU and Taxes. I believe in you 100%. Give it a go as Bohemia. It's a great time. Good luck. Ask questions in the comments as well if you'd like. The Discord's likely to respond faster and probably be better at it than me, but I'm very happy to help too. Good luck. Have fun. See ya.